This is how the production of luxury motorcycles begins. Manufactured entirely in the United States for riders across America. Every new model starts with a design in the studio, followed immediately by the clay modeling process. Clay modeling helps designers turn digital concepts into real, full-scale motorcycles. Right now you're watching the factory of Indian Motorcycle. This motorcycle manufacturer is Harley-Davidson's biggest and longest-standing competitor. To put it in perspective, last year Indian Motorcycles sold just over 25,000 bikes compared to more than 150,000 from Harley-Davidson. The Indian Motorcycle Factory is located in Spirit Lake, Iowa, and serves as the primary manufacturing facility for Indian motorcycles. This modern plant is where skilled craftsmen assemble each motorcycle by hand, ensuring quality and precision in every build. Indian is owned by Polaris Industries, another American company, so production is kept domestic to maintain quality standards and the Made in USA branding. Some smaller components may be sourced internationally, but the motorcycles themselves are assembled entirely in the US. This factory employs approximately 550 dedicated professionals, many of whom have years of experience and take exceptional pride in building these legendary machines. Indian Motorcycle puts a lot of emphasis on leather accessories, and therefore has a relatively large leather processing department. Indian Motorcycle has moved away from tan leather in recent years, along with classic fairings and saddlebags. It's cheaper to offer only one style of saddlebags and fairing, and also only one saddle color. But now you're watching the engines being fitted to these famous bikes. The manufacturing process and procedures are very similar to the Harley-Davidson brand. While Indian Motorcycle faced a challenging year in 2024, the company remains committed to innovation and market adaptation to navigate the evolving industry landscape. Indian motorcycles are often praised for their modern features and comfort, while Harley-Davidson has a long-standing reputation and a dedicated community. Ultimately, the choice between the two may come down to personal preference and specific riding needs. Indian's manufacturing facility was moved to Spirit Lake, Iowa in 2011. In March 2013, Indian unveiled their new Thunderstroke engine and began to sell their newly designed motorcycles based on it in August 2013. You are now watching the final assembly of the exclusive Indian Chieftain Elite Black Hills Silver motorcycle. The Indian Challenger with the dark horse flavor is powered by the Power Plus liquid-cooled 60-degree V-twin engine that produces 122 horsepower and 128 foot-pounds of torque. As you can see, the manufacturing processes and quality standards at both companies are remarkably similar, reflecting a shared commitment to precision, durability, and attention to detail. The rivalry between Indian Motorcycle and Harley-Davidson is one of the most legendary in motorcycling history, with both brands representing the pinnacle of American cruiser culture. While they share some similarities, iconic American V-twin cruisers, rich heritage, and devoted fan bases, they each bring a unique style, feel, technology, and brand personality to the table. Every Harley-Davidson sold in the United States is assembled right here, inside American manufacturing plants. While some components are imported from around the world, including China, the engines and drivelines are proudly built in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and the frames are assembled in York, Pennsylvania. What you're seeing now is the first stage of the manufacturing process, pressing the fenders, fuel tank, and other body panels at Harley-Davidson's main factory in York. This iconic brand blends modern manufacturing technology, including CNC machines and robotics, with classic hand assembly, ensuring precision and craftsmanship in every bike. All Harleys sold domestically come from either the Milwaukee or York plants, and approximately 70% of each bike's parts are made in the USA. Harley-Davidson sales have faced an annual decline over the past 8 years, but last year marked a turnaround. Increased demand in India, Europe, and Latin America helped boost sales to roughly 170,000 units worldwide, with 100,000 sold in the United States. By contrast, Honda sells over 17 million motorcycles annually, which highlights just how exclusive and prestigious owning a Harley, or hog, truly is. The production continues as the frame is welded. Programmed robotic arms handle the main welding, while skilled workers take care of complex sections and irregularities. Once welded, the parts move to the paint shop, where they are hung on sliders and run through automated painting lines. Workers here primarily supervise the process, maintain equipment, apply decals, and polish the finished components. Once painted, the parts, including fenders, fuel tanks, and other body components, are stored in a central warehouse. They are delivered to the main assembly line precisely when needed, as Harley-Davidson uses just-in-time manufacturing techniques to maintain flexibility and efficiency. You're now watching a process called powder coating. This is a dry finishing technique where finely ground particles of pigment and resin are electrostatically charged and sprayed onto a metal surface. The coated part is then baked in an oven, causing the powder to melt, flow, and form a tough, uniform finish. This production line is highly automated. Workers primarily program the robotic machines and monitor the process from screens, ensuring every part meets Harley-Davidson's exacting standards. Despite the automation, Harley-Davidson still employs thousands of skilled workers. Currently, the company has around 5,800 employees, most of whom work directly on the main assembly line. The motto "Made in America" remains central to Harley-Davidson's identity, even as the brand reaches a global audience. Craftsmanship, customization, and heritage-driven engineering are key to every bike. Powder coating is used extensively on engine parts and frames, providing durability, corrosion, and heat resistance, a smooth, visually appealing finish, and long-lasting quality. Here, you can see the yellow and orange robotic arms handling the cylinder heads. Each cylinder head sits atop the engine cylinder, housing the intake and exhaust valves, spark plug holes, and combustion chamber. On Harley's V-twin engines like the Milwaukee 8, each cylinder has its own head. They are designed for air cooling and efficient heat dissipation, which is why you see the iconic cooling fins that are a hallmark of Harley engines. You are now watching the automatic assembly of the crankcases. These robots are expensive to acquire, but then they work 24/7 and do not need any salary. This is the cylinder assembly, where an experienced technician carefully puts together multiple components to create a key part of the engine. At this Harley-Davidson factory, workers are highly specialized, each trained to perform a single task within the manufacturing process. Repeating the same task day after day ensures precision and flawless execution. Hundreds of completed engines are stored in the central warehouse, each tagged with a unique number and matched to the exact bike model it will be installed in. At the York, Pennsylvania factory, the final assembly of most heavyweight models, including touring bikes, trikes, and CVO editions, takes place. This facility also handles frame fabrication, painting, chrome plating, and rigorous quality testing, making it a true hub of Harley-Davidson craftsmanship. The Menominee Falls factory is where Harley-Davidson manufactures engines and transmissions, including the iconic Milwaukee 8 engine. This facility handles machining, casting, and precision assembly of engine components, ensuring each powertrain meets Harley's exacting standards. Now you're watching the installation of a Revolution Max 1250 T-stressed member engine into a Sportster S. This is what the engine assembly looks like in the Harley-Davidson Sportster S. In 2021, this successful bike was completely redesigned. The Sportster S was soon followed by the Nightster and Nightster Special, both powered by the new and smaller Revolution Max 975T engine with 2-in-1 exhaust at a lower price point. A stressed member engine isn't just a power plant. It also acts as a structural component of the chassis, transmitting forces and torque directly instead of being passively mounted with anti-vibration supports. Here you can see the engine securely mounted in the frame of a future Harley-Davidson motorcycle. The complete powertrain assembly also takes place at the Menominee Falls plant, located just outside Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Around 600 skilled workers are employed at this facility, each contributing to the production of Harley's legendary engines and transmissions. The giant American flag on the ceiling of the factory floor and other symbols around show how Harley-Davidson is focused on patriotism and love for its country of origin. Now you are watching the start of the main assembly line. This is where the frame is first assembled, followed by the engine assembly, and then more and more parts are gradually assembled. The whole production process is like a giant jigsaw puzzle. This is where most of the workers are employed. This part is already underway at the York factory in Pennsylvania. Next comes the careful assembly of the bike, including bolting together hundreds of components, adding handlebars, and installing countless other parts. The assembly sequence is carefully optimized for speed and precision, minimizing the risk of errors. Each workstation is staffed by a team of skilled workers, led by a supervisor who oversees every step of the process to ensure quality. Finally, the fuel tank, fenders, and protective covers are installed, bringing the bike closer to its finished form. You're now watching engine performance testing on a dynamometer, or dyno. A dynamometer is a device that measures both the torque and rotational speed of an engine, allowing engineers to calculate its instantaneous power output, typically displayed in kilowatts right on the machine. One of the things that makes Harley-Davidson so unique is the unparalleled legacy they've created over many generations of making motorcycles. The company was founded in 1903 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, by friends William S. Harley and Arthur Davidson. After testing and polishing, the bikes are ready to be transported to their future owners or to dealerships. Transportation usually takes place in huge boxes and then by truck across the United States. Assembly line workers at Harley-Davidson factories typically earn between $20 and $30 per hour. Of course, actual pay varies depending on the specific role and the employee's seniority and experience with the company. A Tomahawk factory in Wisconsin specializes in producing composite motorcycle parts, including fairings, saddlebags, windshields, and more. Riding a Harley emphasizes freedom of movement. You're not confined to traffic or routines. The open road becomes your playground. The low-slung cruiser-style design gives a sense of control and connection to the road, making even short rides feel epic. You now have the honor of witnessing a unique restoration project of a one-of-a-kind car, the BMW 507, once owned and driven by none other than the king of rock and roll himself, Elvis Presley. Although this car isn't for sale, its estimated value, if it ever were, would start at $8 million and only go up from there. I bet Elvis never would have imagined that the old car he bought while in the Army would become one of the most valuable cars of all time. A specialized company spent 2 years restoring the car, and in August 2016, it was unveiled at a showcase in California. All the original body panels and other components were intact and in place, but the Roadster was missing its engine and transmission. Finished in feather white, powered by an aluminum V8 engine producing 110 kilowatts, fitted with center lock wheels, a black and white interior, and a Becker Mexico radio. The goal of the restoration was to return the car to the exact condition it was in on December 20th, 1958, when Elvis Presley took delivery of it. After restoring the seat covers, it was revealed that the original steel seat frames could be reused with all rust carefully removed. Traditional 1950s craftsmanship was combined with cutting-edge modern techniques. The dashboard was newly cast using an original template, and the leather upholstery was tanned to precisely match the patterns seen in period photographs and catalogs. The steel seat springs were then covered with coconut matting, a natural material that was used in the 1950s during the original BMW 507 production, along with padding and linen fabrics to ensure maximum comfort. The window cranks and door handles were recreated using modern 3D printing technology based on the original designs. In contrast, the rubber seal for the fuel tank lid was reproduced using traditional methods, since this part, like many others, had deteriorated over time. Elvis's BMW 507 engine was completely rebuilt from spare parts. A small batch of these replacement parts was manufactured, meaning owners of BMW 507 Roadsters can now purchase this part from the BMW Group Classic store. The 3.2-liter V8 was refurbished exactly to the original BMW 507 specifications, but due to the unusual combination of new and old parts used, the engine does not carry an official engine number. The mounting for the front auxiliary axle frame, which had been cut out of the car, was recreated with the original geometry and integrated back into the supporting structure. The restoration project led by BMW Group Classic was a success. The wooden strip that holds the canvas roof in place was also remade using materials and manufacturing methods from the 1950s. BMW experts and external specialists joined forces to set new standards in the restoration of the BMW 507. Elvis's specific BMW 507 Roadster rolled off the production line on September 13, 1957, bearing the serial number 70079 and the license plate MJX 800. Only 254 BMW 507s were produced between 1955 and 1959, making it one of the most exclusive and sought-after rarities in BMW's history. The restoration took over 2 years, involving disassembly, sandblasting, custom part fabrication, and hand-restoring everything from the drivetrain to the upholstery. The vehicle was completely dismantled down to the last bolt. Each part was documented, cleaned, evaluated, and either restored or replaced. The vehicle was completely disassembled, a process that, in this special case, took an entire week instead of the 1 or 2 days originally planned. The aluminum body panels, which had been altered and damaged over the years, were carefully removed and reshaped. The car was discovered in a warehouse in California by BMW Group Classic. It was in poor condition, stripped interior, missing engine parts, and painted red. BMW acquired the car and transported it to Munich, Germany, to begin the full restoration. Unlike some of his other cars, Elvis's BMW 507 didn't feature personalized elements like his initials or gold trim. After Elvis left Germany, the 507 changed hands several times, including being used as a race car in Alabama, and later stored in a California pumpkin warehouse for decades. Elvis Presley was stationed in Germany during his military service from 1958 to 1960. He leased the white BMW while in Frankfurt, using it regularly. BMW had to reverse engineer parts that were no longer in existence. Some components had to be 3D scanned and machined or sourced from collectors. You're now watching the disassembled car frame being moved to another section of the BMW factory, where restoration work will continue. When BMW Classic acquired the car in 2014, it was in poor shape. Severely rusted body, no engine or gearbox, missing or damaged interior, non-original parts from its racing days. The car had been painted red, not the original white. Every remaining component of the vehicle was meticulously removed and cataloged to ensure a thorough restoration process. The body was stripped down to its bare aluminum chassis, providing a clear view of the car's fundamental structure. Each part underwent a careful assessment to determine its originality and condition. Authenticity was further verified through original numbers and tags, helping to preserve the vehicle's historical integrity. To carefully strip the aluminum body panels without causing any damage, BMW employed a fine sandblasting technique. The restoration team began by removing the red paint and layers of filler from the car's surface. Damaged aluminum panels were carefully reshaped, welded, or replaced by hand using traditional coach building techniques, preserving the car's authentic craftsmanship. This process uncovered numerous dents, cracks, and areas of corrosion, particularly concentrated in the floor panels and wheel arches, highlighting the extent of the restoration work needed. Elvis used his BMW 507 to travel between his home in Bad Nauheim and the U.S. Army base in Friedberg. His fans always kept a close eye on him, often surrounding the car. The Roadster's paint was frequently covered with love notes written in lipstick. The problem was solved with a fresh coat of red paint. To ensure every panel matched the original specifications, the restoration team relied on historic factory drawings and modern 3D scans for precise accuracy. Additionally, the original frame was meticulously restored and realigned, providing a solid foundation for the restored vehicle. The interior of the vehicle had been completely stripped down, presenting a blank canvas for restoration. Skilled craftsmen turned to archival photos from BMW to faithfully recreate the original black leather upholstery, dashboard, and instrument panel. The ivory-colored Bakelite steering wheel was also carefully reproduced. In cases where original parts were unavailable, custom components were expertly handcrafted to maintain the car's authenticity and period-correct appearance. The restoration team uses a wide range of specialized hand tools. At the same time, in some cases, they also employed the most advanced machinery available at the time. That is, between 2014 and 2016. You are now watching the polishing and sanding of the bodywork. The process is very similar to that used in mass production of regular cars, but in this case, there is a much greater focus on quality, and everything must be absolutely perfect. Although this was a unique project, BMW's dedicated restoration department regularly handles the refurbishment of various vehicles for its museums and similar purposes. These experienced technicians know exactly how to proceed to achieve the best possible results. This expertise is one of the reasons why this car holds such exceptional value. You are now watching the manual welding of certain body parts. This work cannot be done by any robot. It requires a human touch and a keen eye for detail. BMW treated the project like an archaeological restoration, not just a cosmetic rebuild. Every effort was made to preserve original materials where possible and match factory standards, even using original rivets and hand-sewn upholstery techniques. BMW Group Classic Division is BMW's official department dedicated to the preservation, restoration, and celebration of the brand's heritage. Restorations are done either for BMW's own museum for collectors or historic events. BMW Classic reproduces rare and discontinued parts for vintage models. Over 60,000 original spare parts are stocked or recreated, supporting owners of classic BMW, Mini, and Rolls-Royce vehicles, pre-2003 models. They maintain BMW's historical archives, including documents, blueprints, photographs, and even early prototypes. They curate and manage exhibits at the BMW Museum in Munich, showcasing milestones from BMW's history, organize temporary exhibitions, classic car tours, and events related to BMW heritage. Every restoration project begins with in-depth archival research to ensure historical accuracy. The team consults original build sheets, factory records, blueprints, technical drawings, and period photographs from the BMW archives. BMW Group Classic is a relatively small, expert-driven unit inside the broader BMW organization. 150-person team is managing the classic car warehouse and restoration activities. The goal is to fully understand how the car left the factory, down to the exact paint color, materials, mechanical specifications, and optional equipment, so the restoration can faithfully replicate the original vehicle in every detail. The restoration process begins with removing old paint, rust, and filler from the steel and aluminum body panels, using either chemical stripping or careful sandblasting. Once the bare metal is exposed, damaged panels are reshaped or entirely recreated by hand. To shape the metal panels, the technicians use a traditional hammering technique, followed by carefully fastening everything together with screws. Not all automotive manufacturers have such specialized restoration departments as BMW or, for example, Mercedes in Germany. The entire restoration process took 2.5 years, partly due to the high workload at certain workstations. In other words, the car often had to wait its turn before work could continue, contributing to the extended timeline. You're now watching as the aluminum components are being attached to the main body frame, gradually forming the completed body shell. In 1958, Elvis Presley was drafted into the U.S. Army and sent to Friedberg, Germany. At that time, Elvis was already a global superstar, and even in military uniform, his charisma drew crowds everywhere. Elvis's BMW 507 is more than just a rare automobile. It represents a unique intersection of automotive and cultural history. The car connects a music icon at a singular moment in his life, serving his country overseas, with a nearly forgotten vehicle brought back to life through expert restoration. Wanting a stylish car while stationed in Europe, Elvis ended up leasing a BMW 507 from a Frankfurt-based BMW dealership. The car was originally used by Hans Stuck, a famous German racing driver, before Elvis took it over. It bridges two very different worlds, the vibrant energy of American rock and roll and the precision of German engineering. Today, the BMW 507 stands as a symbol of craftsmanship, celebrity, and the enduring power of a compelling story. Please write in the comments section whether you would like to work as a classic car restorer. Although the car was built in Germany and the entire restoration process took place within BMW's department there, it is now owned by an American and is driven on the roads in the United States. While it hasn't been sold, its value is estimated around $8 to $10.5 million, placing it among the most historically valuable BMWs ever, though not near the top-selling Ferraris and racing legends. BMW found the car decades later in poor shape and restored it over 2.5 years using original factory specs. The result? A perfect museum-quality car with a rock star past. Years of use, including time spent on the racetrack, had taken a significant toll on the vehicle. The body showed warped and dented panels, while the floor pan and underbody suffered from extensive corrosion. The team has finally completed the full body frame. After a thorough quality inspection, it is rolled out of the workshop and loaded onto a trailer. The frame will then be transported for final assembly with the chassis and engine. The entire restoration process took place over more than 2 years and involved multiple locations. Elvis's BMW was transported between various specialists, with each phase of the restoration bringing the car closer to its final, fully restored form. By the time BMW recovered the car in 2014, the original 3.2-liter V8 was long missing. It had been removed during the car's time in the US, where it was used as a race car and fitted with the Chevrolet V8, common in hot rodding at the time. Interior components are meticulously rebuilt, using either original materials or accurate reproductions to preserve authenticity. Leather upholstery and stitching are matched precisely to factory specifications, while instrument clusters are carefully restored or entirely rebuilt. Wood and aluminum trim pieces are refinished or remade to original standards. To ensure historical accuracy in every detail, from stitching patterns to seat padding, BMW Classic collaborates closely with traditional coach builders and expert upholsterers. A later owner raced it in the US with a Chevy V8 swapped in, unknowingly thrashing a former car of the King. Following reassembly, BMW conducted dynamic testing, taking the vehicle on multiple test drives to evaluate its roadworthiness, handling, and safety. During this phase, adjustments were made to engine tuning, suspension alignment, and braking balance to guarantee optimal performance and driving experience. The fully restored Elvis 507 debuted at the 2016 Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance, one of the most prestigious car events in the world.